Go.
And you're live.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our first live webinar. My name is Makenzie Darling, and I'm the Character Day producer. I'm live here from San Francisco in our Let It Ripple film studio. I really would like to thank all of you for taking the time out of your busy days to join us. This is the first webinar out of our monthly series where we're going to be going over best practices for Character Day to make your events successful. And we're also going to be having a speaker series where people will be joining us talking about their different social and emotional learning programs, as well as their experience within Character Day. Our first guest this series is Associate Superintendent from San Francisco Unified School District, Kevin Truitt. Last year, he brought on 125 of his schools in 94 of his after-school programs to get Character Day up and running. So we're delighted to have him today. He's going to be talking for about 15 minutes, but to get this rolling, I wanted to show a little bit and talk a little bit about Character Day and best practices before we get started. Just to let you know, we're going to be having a Q&A session at the end of this session. So would love to have any of your questions. If you just use the little blue button on the left-hand side that says Q&A, feel free to chime in and ask any questions you would like for myself or Mr. Truitt. You also can go onto Twitter, #CD16, and feel free to answer or ask any questions there. So Character Day is going to be happening on September 22nd this year. 3 years ago, our film team created a short, engaging film called The Science of Character, which really focused on the neuroscience and social science that proves that we can shape who we are and who we want to be in the world. We decided to try and experiment. What would really happen if we premiered this around the world to get the conversation around character developing? And so the first year, our goal was to have 250 groups participate, and to our surprise, we had over 1,500 groups join. So it became very clear that people were really thirsty to have this conversation. The second year, we had over 6,700 groups participate in over 125 different countries. And this year, we're looking to really knock this out of the park, having groups participating from schools, corporations, congregations, families, everyone to really join in this global movement. And so what is Character Day? It's a day to really refocus ourselves on the 21st century world that we live in. It's an opportunity for us to stop and ask ourselves, who am I and who I want to be in this world? And so why is this so important? The history of character education is really, really fascinating. So character used to be the backbone of education. However, ever since the separation between church and state, character education was taken out of the classrooms and was seen more as religious. And so people from all over the world are now realizing that it really needs to be put back into our curriculum. I mean, just looking at our current political climate, we can now see how important this is to really reevaluate. So while many of you on this webinar probably already have very strong social and emotional learning programs in place in your districts, I wanted to just take a moment and applaud you all for joining forces to have one day where we're all united under this one global conversation. And it's really a day for all of us to reflect and feel part of something greater than ourselves. So I wanted to get started showing you our periodic table of character strengths, and this is a poster that's going to be included in your discussion materials for the actual Character Day. But I wanted to take a moment and have you look at the different character strengths that we're covering in our films and our resources. So you can see on here we have wisdom, courage, humanity, justice, temperance, transcendence. And under all of these columns, those are the character strengths that we're going to be touching upon. So we're going to be offering 3 award-winning films again this year for Character Day. The first one is The Science of Character, which is an 8-minute film that which I mentioned in my previous slides, which really explores the neuroscience and social science that proves that we can shape who we are and who we want to be in the world. The second film is called The Adaptable Mind. It's 11 minutes long, and it explores the skills we need to flourish in the 21st century. And then the last is the making of a mensch. It's 10 minutes long, and that explores the character education through the ancient Jewish teachings of Musar. On top of this, we're also going to be adding 3 other films to this collection. We're going to be curating 3 other films from various filmmakers who do work around character education. So if you can, or if you have not signed up already, make sure to sign up at characterday.org. And once you've registered, please stay tuned because I'm going to be sending out emails with further information about these films and discussion materials. The discussion materials we're going to be providing for the first 10,000 groups that order them. And again, I'm going to be sending out a mass email to all the registrants when these materials are ready to order online. The films and all of the discussion kits are free of charge. You just have to pay for the shipping. And if there's, if we have signed up over 10,000 groups, don't have any fear because we're actually going to have wonderful online resources for you to use as well. The discussion kits include, as I mentioned before, the periodic table of character strengths, which lots of schools have made copies and have posted them all over their classrooms. I actually know Mr. Truitt, who is online today, made about 400 copies for all of his schools last year and had them posted up around his district, which is really terrific. Along with the poster, it also includes cards with questions around the films and character development, and all of these cards are segmented by age appropriateness. Along with the discussion kits, we're also going to be hosting a global Google Hangout with character education experts talking about different character strengths. And this is really an excellent opportunity to have conversations with people from all over the world on what makes us all human and what connects us. And so we're going to be having this Hangout going for 24 hours on September 22nd, so people from all over the world can participate. All right, so how does this all work? What should your character day look like? I want to emphasize that your character day can look and feel however you want it to be. It's really, really flexible. So it can be any size, anywhere, and any place. This means that you could have a humongous auditorium with thousands of people watching these films, or it could just be a family in a living room, watching these films and having discussions around character education. As I said, we're offering 6 films, but some schools will want to have 1 to 2 films, or they might want to be watching all 6. It's really up to them. Some schools or districts devote just an hour or maybe 2 hours to it. Others have a whole day for character education. Others do a character week. So again, it really just depends on the look and feel that you would want from it. Some suggested activities that I would recommend. Again, we're going to be having the film screenings. I would have the breakout discussions, and that can really vary, the different ways that you use the resources that we provide. You could have speakers. A lot of the people that I've spoken to have experts in the field come and speak to the students about different character strengths. You could have assemblies. You could get your after-school programs involved, just as Mr. Truitt did at San Francisco Unified. Some schools have even put on plays, so you could have, an outside organization come in and put a play on with the different character strengths, or even have, the students put on a play, whatever works for you. Art projects are always fun. I would really say to get your community involved, do some outreach. I think it would be really neat to have all of the community and your parents coming in and talking about character education with the students. I think is a great idea. Another idea that we've seen is video submissions. So if you would want to have the students take 1-minute videos about what they think their biggest character strength is and how they bring that to the world, and then do a project around that. That seems really exciting. And then on top of that, again, as I said, participating in our global discussions. Our team's really working with some amazing partners to aggregate an educational resource hub with all of the materials that you would want around character development. And so what we're doing is we're building an app and a hub that we're going to be, it's going to be available in August. And it's really great where you can filter it by age, character strength, and modality. So if you're looking for books, apps, what have you, it'll all be there, bringing all of these conversations together. So Character Day is really a great way to kick off the school year with being aware of one's character, but our hub is going to help to keep this conversation going throughout the school year as well. So I just want to remind everyone, I mean, this is a free day for everyone around the world, so we'd really love your help to spread the word. We need all of you to share this with your communities. So I've included our Character Day hashtag for Twitter. You'll see that here. It's hashtag CD16 and hashtag global character. I'd also recommend liking us, the Character Day, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, so you can follow for up-to-date updates by the minute. And then I'd also really urge you to share the registration page and the 1-minute trailer that we've created with your community. So again, it's www.characterday.org. And so if you have any questions whatsoever, I would urge you to please pick up the phone or send me an email. I'm here to make sure that your Character Day runs smoothly, that everyone has a wonderful and fulfilling experience. And thank you so much for your time. And now let's kick this over to Kevin Truitt, who's going to be discussing his involvement in Character Day in 2015 and 2016.
Great. Hi, Makenzie.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're great.
Okay, great. So I wanted to start by talking about why Character Day was something that we embraced in San Francisco, and certainly something that I wanted to get involved in. I've been a principal of an elementary, a middle, and a high school. And my 7 years as a high school principal, I was really shocked when I went into high school. As a principal, I'd never taught in high school and hadn't been an administrator in a high school, and I went in as the principal. And the thing that concerned me the most was I met 1,000 of amazing, beautiful students who had very little self-confidence or belief in themselves, and were some of the really didn't know how wonderful and amazing and intelligent they were. And I had to say to myself, is this what our system has done? Is this what education had done? Have we totally beaten them down so much that now they come into high school and they don't believe in their ability to succeed? They're putting themselves down. They put others down. We know that they do that. And I just felt that there was really a need to really constantly reaffirm how wonderful they are and how talented they are and how bright their future is going to be. And it was such a struggle for me, and I said it was sad. So I spent a lot of time before I knew about Character Day talking about positive character attributes. As a principal, it was something that I told my teachers, this is what I want us to really focus on. We got to lift these kids up. We got to lift these kids up. They're not going to, if they don't believe in themselves, they're not going to try academically, and we have to do all that we can. So we did a lot of work on that. When I came to the district level, I was really shocked at our suspension rates. We were very punitive. Our suspension rates are through the roof, and that's the department that I took over with student, family, community support, so all of student services and school health programs and counseling. And we put forth a board resolution to address this because our suspensions were also staggeringly disproportionate by race. And so we started to implement, as part of the Safe and Supportive Schools, many programs like restorative practices, Second Step, PAC's Good Behavior Game, Positive Behavior Intervention Strategies, PBIS, all of these professional developments really focusing on how we respond to student behavior, instead of being punitive but being compassionate, and really understanding the situation that students are in. Many of our students are impacted by trauma, and are dealing with situations in their life that they're struggling with. And so really turning ourselves to being a much more compassionate and sensitive, compassionate school district that was looking out for the social emotional needs of our students. And then Character Day came along. So I was looking at that and I said, oh great, I got these tools that could actually talk about some of these characters, like kindness and perseverance and spirituality and optimism and humor. And I thought I saw the video, I thought this is great, this is great. I also like the fact that we could leave it totally open-ended and do whatever we want in the classroom. So to start off last year's administrative institute in San Francisco, we meet in a very large venue, and we have over 400 administrators at all of our 125 schools, early ed schools, early education programs. So about 400 administrators meet in a large venue. And during the year, I meet with our Student Advisory Council. So I oversee student government. One of my offices does, one of my staff does. And I meet with representatives from all of our 20 high schools. And so I gathered, I asked them for a group of students that I had come to know over the years when they were juniors. They're now going into their senior year. And I met with about 15 of them, and I asked them to respond to a question. What is it that you admire about yourself? What's the character strength you admire about yourself? What are you most proud of? What's the character strength? No one picked that one, by the way. What's the one that you admire in others? Or what's the character strength that you aspire to be? What is that character strength that you want to work on, to achieve? And as part of, and we talk a lot about a growth mindset too. So most of the students wanted to talk about who they admired and why. And they wrote the stories. They wrote their stories down. They memorized them, and then we went to the venue before and we practiced on the stage. And I practiced with their delivery. And I'm glad that we did that. I mentioned it because they were they got up there and they were ready to tell their story. Mm-hmm. And they said their stories with a lot of feeling, a lot of emotion. And they talked about people in their family, friends, relatives that have really struggled and what they admire about their bravery, their strength, their courage. They told some amazing stories. They told stories that they'd never shared with some of their family members. They shared personal stories of what they've never been. They wanted to work on their bravery. They talked about the things they wanted to work on. After they were done, each of them walked off the stage and then lined up in front. And then to their surprise, I went out into the audience and I said, okay, so now we've heard from the students. And now, of course, they're nervous because they were talking to every principal, administrator, assistant principal in the whole entire city of every single school they've ever attended. And what was interesting is some of the seniors that were up there talking about themselves, I was able to point out, do you remember your elementary principal? She's sitting over there. And so the principal was like, I haven't seen you for 8 years. Oh, my God. And they were able and so then I went to some of the principals and I said, now that we've heard from the students, I want to go to a couple people that know these students. So I went to the high school principals and I approached them and I said to a high school principal, I said, Eric, tell me about Liam. What do you know about Liam? And the principals, I coached them before. I said, so I'm going to ask you, what do you admire about the student? And so the principals, then the students weren't expecting this. And they said, Liam, let me tell you what I admire about you. And they went on and told about the student, this amazing, amazing kids. So the principals told the story about the students. And I have to tell you, it was just I get choked up just even thinking about it now. But all the principals in the room after this professional development, this kickoff of that day, when they spoke later on they always rate the professional developments, and principals can be very harsh. And that session, they said Kevin knocked it out of the park. They were like, that was the best ever. So that got people really inspired. So we talked about what people could do on Character Day, and we had a lot of schools that jumped in, and so everyone talked about it in some sense that day. Everyone had the posters. Posters are in the counseling office, principal's office, and we asked, even if for nothing else, at some point during the day, you're going to ask the students to think about any kind of prompt. The Character Day periodic table comes with a lot of cards too, so there's some suggestions. On the website there are lots of tools, so great tools to use. Talks about each of the character strengths. It will mention, there's some really great ideas because it will talk about movies that have that character strength, books. So any teacher at any time that's reading a novel or going in history, talking about historical figures, could always mention, what do you think the character strengths are of that particular person? So we talk about famous people, people in your family. What are the character strengths? What do you aspire to admire in others? And so even if just for a moment, to take a moment and think about positive character attributes that you admire, that you aspire to, anyone can do that. It doesn't take a huge lesson plan. And so, but people did much more. They had full-on assemblies where kids got up and spoke about character traits that they admire. We had a theater group that came to a school and performed. We had schools make T-shirts with character traits on them. I went to one school where the kids had a character trait on their back, and you walked around and they commented to people about what they admired, and then they put that character trait. There were Post-it notes and put those character traits, but it gave them a chance to interact with someone that they probably didn't even think knew them, or I don't know you very well, but this is what I think I admire in you. So it was a nice icebreaker. It was also at the beginning of the year, so these kids are really nervous. Some of them are in new classes. The high school freshmen are scared out of their minds, so it's a great icebreaker to have also to get kids to know each other. And it starts them on the path of, wouldn't it be great if we started to talk about the things we admire in people instead of the things that we think are their bad attributes, that they're ugly, they're this, they're stupid. All the negative terms that are all over Twitter that the kids are texting all the time. They have no shortage of text messages that are on the negative side. But what would it be like if we switched that and just really turned it on the positive? So that's that part of it. I told that story. Am I going on? You can tell me.
That was wonderful.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Truitt. That was wonderful for you to share, and every single time that I talk to you, your inspirational story just gives me goosebumps. So that is terrific. Let's open it up for the Q&A session here. Do we have any questions off the bat on Twitter? Again, if you have questions, if you want to do hashtag CD16, or there's that Q&A button right there on the left-hand side. So we'd love to open it up for questions. So the first question is, how is everything provided for free for this event? That's a great question. So we have been fortunate enough to be given a beautiful grant by the Templeton Foundation to carry on Character Day for 2016 and 2017. And so again, this event is free of cost for everyone that participates. Any other questions that we have? I'll let it go for just a couple more seconds here, but definitely feel free to put in the chat bar if you want. Mr. Truitt, anything else to add that you would like?
I did want to say that the students on the Student Advisory Council, the SAC, so they're their elected students from all the high schools, I'm having a dinner with them in a couple weeks, and they're sharing their ideas about there's usually a junior and senior from every school about what they want to do for next year. So they're doing some video montage that they want shared with the principals. Right. They're very creative about it. They're doing some. They're going to surprise me with what they have. But it's all around character strengths.
That's wonderful, and I would really urge you, if you could, to share that with us. We're always looking for material to share on our Twitter or our Facebook to really, recognize these students and kind of give them a moment in the spotlight. And so anyone else out there that is doing similar projects, I'm always looking to hear about that to be able to spotlight your schools and your students. Well, there doesn't look like there's any other questions as of right now.
I'll say one more important thing, okay? I'll say one more important thing.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that really resonated with the principals in our district is a lot of educators will talk about the importance of a growth mindset, and I think in the video it displays that very, very well in the adaptable mind, the science of character. The video that shows the growth mindset and that visual and that illustration, great, great, great movie. But oftentimes we talk in education about how we believe in a growth mindset. We don't believe that children come to us with a fixed mindset. Otherwise, why are we in this? As educators, we want all of our children to succeed and to recognize their full potential. So we have to believe in a growth mindset. And I think that this gives teachers something actually very tangible to do in the classroom to really teach kids what is a growth mindset about. It's a concept that we keep to ourselves as educators that we really don't share in a very tangible way with the students. And I think that this allows us an actual activity to say, hey, this is what a growth mindset is about. You are not fixed at birth as to what you are going to be for the rest of your life. And these are, and you can start by developing these character strengths, choosing some of them that you think you want to develop in yourself. So I think that really resonated with some administrators too, because it's something we talk a lot about, but we don't know how to convey to students, and it's very important.
Absolutely. I think that that's a great point. And, you know, I'm talking to educators daily, and growth mindset is at the forefront of, you know, what they're thinking about and what they're concerned about. And so I think that's a great, great point, that Character Day really gives a nice jump off to have everyone thinking about how they can work actionably on these character strengths and that it's not fixed.
Absolutely.
We do have one question here. So it's asking if we already have an event scheduled the day after Character Day, can we still participate? Absolutely. I mean, we really are wanting everyone to be participating on September 22nd. I think it's great if you can, you know, watch some of the films or have some of the discussion kits, or be part of that global conversation on September 22nd. But it's also very easy to tie Character Day into other events that you're having during the school year. I know a lot of the educators that I'm talking to have events like Spirit Week and you know, Welcome Back Week. So as I said before, it's really the way that you want to cater this event is up to your own needs. We just would really like and are trying to have everyone try to at least participate a little bit on the 22nd. So it's really a global movement with everyone involved. All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Truitt, again, for taking the time. I know you are so busy, but again, as I said, you're an inspiration, and we really, really appreciate you having us online. And again, just to remind everyone, if you haven't done so already, please go to characterday.org. It takes 2 minutes to sign up, and it's a really great way to be in the know of all the updates that I'm going to be sending as the event draws closer. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, Makenzie.
Bye-bye.